Hello and welcome to Blue Suede News. Myself and three guests will be reviewing the good, the bad and the utterly stupid of the last 7 days. Without wasting any more time, I'd like you to welcome our guests. I have Katie Brown.
Hi.
Queen Elizabeard.
Greetings.
And George Coppen. And I'm going to go to each of my guests and ask them to introduce themselves. So, Katie, can you introduce yourself first?
Hi, I'm Katie. And I'm done with lockdown now. So that's it. Katie's done with lockdown.
Superb. So let's go to George Coppen and ask him to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm George Coppen, actor, comedian, and a professional dwarf.
So I'm pleased about that. So,
passed my exam yesterday.
We are very honoured to have Queen Elizabeard here.
Greetings, I am your monarch, Queen Elizabeard. You might recognise one's visage from your money. And your stamps. No, anything in the back of my head.
So before I go to the first round, if you're watching the show, please say hello.
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 And we have Lord Sparkles watching. So nice of you to join us, Lord Sparkles.
Hey.
Have a great time. Wash hands.
Yeah. Do remind me which county Lord Sparkles is from. Is that the Herefordshire Lord Sparkles? I think I had a dance with him at one point.
You would.
That's why he's washed his hands. His hair's ready.
Oh,
Lord Sparkle wants to know, where are the amateur dwarfs, George?
we don't talk about those ones.
I like that. I'm going to start selling myself as a professional fat person.
I thought you were going to say you were going to start saying you're a professional dwarf. I'd say, don't bother with that.
Right. Overthrow.
Yeah.
Shall I sell myself as a professional idiot?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're overly qualified.
Thank you very much, George.
Overly qualified.
No, do you want about a second or more to think about it?
We have Dave Perry joining us. Evening, Dave.
Dave.
Nice of you to join us.
Evening, Dave.
So if anyone else is watching and you want to join in the show, this is an interactive show. So by all means, comment throughout the show. We'll be reviewing your comments as we go. During the good, the bad, and the utterly stupid, you can, of course, suggest stories for our panelists to discuss. And hopefully you'll enjoy the show. If you do enjoy the show, if you're watching on YouTube, please click like and click subscribe. And then you'll be told about the shows which happen every Friday night. If you're watching on Facebook, please click on Roger Poulter or the Roger Poulter Comedians page and click like and follow. So I'm just looking. I haven't put our names on the... Oh, it's because I've got the comments on. So please ignore that. Let's...
I'm looking
we've got names on there. So
Hey.
Anyway, let's go to our first round.
What's the story? Morning Glory.
Now, I always have to decide each week what the story is. And this week, there's been a slight change to my initial plan. And having seen the news reports today and everything like that, I think that this week's main story is the story of the EU chucking their dummy out the pram. AstraZeneca Oxford virus and the Pfizer-BioNTech virus and the EU seem to be having a bit of a ding-dong.
I think you mean the vaccine. I don't think Oxford has developed its own viruses yet.
I stand corrected, the vaccine. So seeing Queen Elizabeard seems to know a lot about this. We'll go to Queen Elizabeard first.
Yeah, okay, well, certainly the difficulty with the contracts, I understand a lot of business. I obviously have my fingers in lots and lots of different pies, as they say. But I think AstraZeneca offered a deal to the EU, which they can't fulfill. And the EU therefore wants to take our vaccines. And they're even sort of saying that we can't have the Pfizer vaccine going via Ireland now. That's a new thing, isn't it? They're actually trying to use the Brexit bill I think it's Article 16 of it and say, no, Pfizer cannot come via Ireland to Northern Ireland unless we get AstraZeneca in return. And I'm thinking, we're already giving away lots and lots, aren't we? So let's just give Oxford straight away over to the EU. Yeah, it can be there next to Gibraltar, and that would solve all the problem.
So, I mean, the funny thing is with this is that they want the vaccines being produced in our factories.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
surely after Brexit, they're our factories.
Yeah, yes, they are indeed our factories, but I think the idea is that they're saying there's a contract, and because we're going to have a surplus number of vaccines we're going to have, it's going to be more than we're actually going to need at this point, that first quarter. Like I said, there might be a deal, but one doesn't care. One's already had the jab. No side effects apart from maybe a little bit of hirsuteness.
Brought
Katie,
Philip back
have you...
from the death as well, didn't it?
Oh, Katie, have you got a view on this?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it was really nice of the EU to throw all the levers a bone, because as we left in the whole Brexit thing, we approved all the vaccines, so we're allowed all the vaccines, which means we can keep having all the vaccines. It's fine, which we wouldn't have had if we were still part of the EU. So, well done, EU. That one thing. That's it. That's the only good thing about Brexit so far. Now they're all thinking that they're heroes because they voted leave.
Right. So, George, have you got any views on this?
Well, I think they probably want the Pfizer vaccine because the word Pfizer doesn't look English. Like, no other English words had the P and an F at the front of it. So, like, that is a foreign word. We're taking it. But I think we should maybe help some countries, like Spain. We should help so they can keep giving us paella. Italy, we should help so they can keep giving us pizza and pasta. And sod the rest of them, you know. German, maybe we could save them for the sausages, you know. But yeah, sod the rest of them.
So,
Do like a bit of a trade, you know.
Yeah, I mean, what gets me with this is that what they don't understand is that our contract, the UK's contract with AstraZeneca, was signed 3 months before the EU's contract. And because the EU's run by committee, it took them 3 months longer to say they wanted the vaccines. So surely our contract takes precedent over theirs. And don't they actually understand that?
Yeah, well, that is, they say a camel is a horse designed by committee, don't they? That's why committees are all that.
First time I've ever heard that.
Have you never heard that?
What, about camels being designed by a committee?
Camel is
Yeah,
a horse
never heard
designed
that
by
before.
committee. Have you not heard
Yeah.
it?
Well, the only camels George knows about are pantomime ones.
Oh, you don't get many of them. Aladdin,
And
maybe.
the back end of a pantomime camel always gets the hump.
Roger, Roger, I want to know how many Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs you've seen that have had a freaking camel.
Hang on, couldn't they have dwarves in Aladdin? Could it be a booth?
Yeah, absolutely. You can easily have dwarves in lots and lots of different pantomimes. Or, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
don't
the
have
genie's
to
got to be really
typecast as a
small, hasn't
dwarf.
it, to fit inside. You know, the genie's got to be really small to fit inside one of those, lamps and everything.
I remember when I left junior school, we put on this big production of Jack and the Beanstalk, and the teachers generally said to me, "Do you want to play the giant?" I was like, "No, shut off." She taken it and generally said, "Do you want to play the giant?" Shut off. No.
I'd always have you playing the giant and Jack and the Beanstalk.
Giant
Giant and the
and
Beanstalk.
That
I want to
new
play the
twist.
Beanstalk.
So,
get one climbing up here.
Before we move off this story, I'll give you one last statistic, which I heard on the BBC the other day. Right? Only 5% of the world's population live in Europe, yet so far, European countries have received 17% of the world's vaccine, and they're still moaning.
Well, that's just Europe, isn't it?
Yeah, but the UK is part of the Europe, which you talk about for that statistic. And we're still moaning that we're not getting the Pfizer. So, it's swings and roundabouts.
So I actually think we've got the better vaccine because the Pfizer one's the one where you need the big freezers.
Yes, that's the one we didn't want, isn't it?
It's the one that's difficult to actually administer, whereas the Oxford one, and that's probably why Europe wants our Oxford vaccine, because it's easy to store. It's easy to store and distribute.
I think you need to forget that it's not just the Oxford AstraZeneca, because Sweden were also involved in making it. AstraZeneca is also part of the Swedish company, and they were heavily involved as well. So it already is part of Europe, although not part of the European Union.
Do you think they'll get one made out of Lego?
That's how they administer it. You have to stand on a Lego brick that's been downed in it.
Can you just imagine if that was manufactured in Belgium? Europe would block it. I do apologise.
DIY.
I think I've gone to pieces with jokes like that.
I give you that one.
Do you mind taking the drum roll of him? I think we need someone with a better sense of humour to actually do the pun drums. Yeah.
That goes to anyone else.
I'm just too set in my ways.
He keeps building on his jokes.
He does.
Right. I take it from your comments, Queen Elizabeard, you would like me to move on to the next round.
We all do.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I think we've done the virus and vaccine enough. Yeah. Taking it. So you've moved on to Donald Trump. Wonderful.
Right. Who shall give the first story to? I think I'm going to give the first story to George. To George. Are you ready, George?
Okay. Yes.
Are you ready, Roger?
Haggis in space. In honour of Burns Night, a packet of haggis has been launched to the edge of space for the first time.
Of course.
Do you want to know a bit more?
Yes, please.
Scottish butcher Simon Howie worked with space education research firm Strattonauts to launch the 454-gram haggis in Perth and Kinross this month.
What I love is London and let's try to get this perfect vaccine for COVID. Scotland, haggis in space. Scotland are focusing on the true story. I think I vaguely remember seeing a headline about this. I'm going to say it's true. 100% haggis in space.
So you're saying haggis in space is true?
Yep.
It is true. Well done, George.
Can I play the haggis when they do the reenactment?
Right. Let's go to Queen Elizabeard. What possible story could I have lined up for Queen Elizabeard?
Better be haggis related.
This is Matthew Rycroft. He's been fined £200 for breaching COVID restrictions. When police pulled his lorry over, they found it was empty. Mr. Rycroft from Chester was pulled over in Birmingham as he had driven down a restricted street. When the police checked his lorry, it was empty, and on further investigation, they found he had been visiting his girlfriend and thought he could get away with it by using his lorry.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he needs an eye test, does it? There's a similarity there, but I mean, does Birmingham have a castle? Can anyone? I know there was one.
I made no mention of a castle at all, you Queen.
No, but I was thinking Barnard Castle, Birmingham Castle. It's a mistake to make, isn't it? So. But driving a lorry down a little restricted street, well, that's a bit daft, isn't it? I mean, he's just going to hold up traffic. I mean, quite frankly,
have you ever been to Birmingham?
Yes, I believe I opened a hospital there.
I
Oh,
fell
right.
in the canal there
Yeah.
when I was pissed.
Have you stayed overnight in Birmingham, Queen?
No, absolutely not. No.
Well, it hasn't
was
got a castle
driving-
then.
It's within driving distance of Windsor. Actually,
Did
most
you stay in a
places are within
Travelodge?
driving distance of Windsor when they're shit like Birmingham. Sorry to you, Brummies, yeah. But the truth is, it is a bit of a dump, isn't it? I'm not convinced you can get many lorries into Birmingham. I don't remember the streets being that wide. Certainly the M6 seems to be full of them, but going around Birmingham, but it just seems to go in a massive circle all around it, don't they, rather than actually going in. So I think this is a false story. Fake news.
So you're saying fake news?
Fake news, because you can't get lorries into Birmingham.
And you're right.
Did you get that? That guy looks like the Swedish fella they use on Taskmaster.
Yeah, he does actually. He looks like his dad.
It's not the Swedish person off Taskmaster.
You just got a picture of a weird guy on your phone. You creep.
No. He is a person.
Of course,
Yes,
he's a
yeah,
person.
yeah.
We can
He's
see
not a
him.
lizard.
And
We know
his
full well he's not a
name,
lizard.
It's a dog in a
guy
mask.
in the picture is Matthew Rycroft.
Okay, and is he famous? Are we supposed to know?
It depends how well you know the Home Office.
Not very.
Oh, I'm
He's
not.
the
I'm
permanent
not being there,
secretary to the Home Office.
that's why his head's so
I'm
shiny.
sorry, permanent. There's no such thing as a permanent secretary. I'll send out his P45. He works for my government, or he used to work for my.
Right, can I ask a
Other
question, please?
news. Oh, and I don't know whether Matthew Rycroft can drive a lorry, and I don't know whether he's got a girlfriend in Birmingham. That bit
Not
was
anymore.
completely made up. Just in other fine news, this week, 2 people got fined in Leeds for organising a snowball fight in Hyde Park.
Well, someone's bleeding because of the snowball fight there. Got a big pile of blood.
Yeah. That's not a fine. That's assault, isn't it? That's,
Yeah.
They were
No,
fined.
that's snow, Queen. That's snow.
The two
That's all.
organisers. The 2 organisers were fined £10,000 each.
Well, I'm sorry.
for
Who
organising
organises a snowball fight? Well, I mean, you just roll up a bit of snowballs, throw it at someone. Is that you an organiser? Because then that's what happens, isn't it? You just start throwing snow. Someone throws it back. Suddenly, you've got a bit of a jolly on.
Yeah,
But
but
when the police were phoned, they dashed to hide and seeked out the organisers.
Dear, not one of those. No, that doesn't deserve one of those drum rolls.
No, it doesn't.
Producers,
Can I ask a question, please, Roger?
Yeah.
How the hell did about a few minutes ago, Katie said that she fell into something in Birmingham, and we completely went past that. I want that story. You completely glanced over the fact. So I was like, no, wait, I want the story from Katie.
Come on then, let's have the story of Katie falling over in Birmingham before I move on to the next.
there isn't really much of a story. There's a pub just by the canal. There's probably more than one, but there's one that I remember just by the canal. And you go down the steps and you walk a bit, and then you're in the canal. Like there's no railings, there's no protection, and when it's dark, the water just looks like wet road. So possibly when you're drunk and it's dark, the water looks like wet road. But I came down the steps and I managed not to fall down the steps. Was really cheering that I had not fallen down the steps, walked backwards, and the person that I was with just pointed like, and I just sort of went back into the canal, and it was hilarious.
it reminds me of mine. It's similar in Venice. Now, in Venice, in the Palazios, they always have 2 entrances. You've got the roadway and you've got the canal way. Obviously, dark after a few wines. He went down the other steps straight into the canal, just walking gradually into it. It was only when he's got, his coat started getting wet. So it was quite, it was a good 3-4 foot into the canal by that point. Went, oh, this isn't a puddle. I had to hurry off home, get changed so we could go out on the lash.
Well, we're getting a few comments. We've had an evening all from
Hi,
Ross
Ross.
Sandridge.
Greetings,
They're a friend of mine.
Lord Sparkles is actually saying there is a castle in Castle Bromwich. Well, of course there's a castle in Castle Bromwich. It's called Castle Bromwich, you silly son.
That's not Birmingham, though, is it?
Yeah, but then again, the Elephant and Castle. That's not no
I
castle.
think, yeah, I
there.
was going to say there must be a
Responded.
pub.
He's responded, Birmingham does have a castle, Alton Castle.
But
Why
that's
we
in Alton.
read
It's
West
not,
Bromwich
isn't that
before?
Alton Towers?
It
It's
is,
not-
and it's in Alton. Is it not also in Staffordshire, not Birmingham?
Yeah. And Russell says looks more like a snowball fight club.
We're not talking about that. You know the rules.
So,
You know, there's also a castle in Donington.
anyway,
Oh, my garden.
anyway, let's move on to the third and final part of faking it, and this, of course, is for Katie. You don't go away with it, Katie. What's the satellite doing?
What?
Oh,
Oh,
It's counting elephants.
can't yet.
Scientists have found a way of getting a computer to look at satellite images, identify elephants, and count them from space.
bit weird for homeschooling.
I'm thinking if they run out of sheep, you know, the scientists.
Yeah.
They tried with sheep, but they fell asleep.
Do you want any more information?
Well, yeah, go for it, because I'm about to say it's true, but you can tell me some more stuff.
When the skies are clear, they can count up to, or they can count elephants in up to 5,000 square kilometers per day.
Yeah, I think that might be true, and if it's not, you've given them a really good idea.
Are they all on a website like Elephant Book?
So you think this might be true? I'm going to be really upset if you're right, because it means I've completely failed this week to catch any of you out. Shall we see whether you're right, Katie, or not?
Go on then.
Hey.
Well done.
That's 3-0 guests versus host.
I just thought that was
faking
such a good idea that it was too good an idea for you to have made it up, Roger.
I just think it's amazing how far some people have taken working from home. Not only do they not have to travel to Africa to count elephants, they've even trained a computer to do it whilst they're watching Netflix.
I tell you something, David Attenborough's next show is going to be shit.
And we've filmed this, as you can see, just going over the Serengeti. 77 elephants just parading below us. All right, that'll do. It's passed over. Oh, there's 3 elephants in Asia. Oh, there's 2 elephants at Chester Zoo. It's just going round and round and round, counting all the elephants. Yeah.
So, do you think that's why
need to
David
count the
Attenborough is trying to learn how to use 5G technology so he can present his wildlife shows from home?
Is he trying? I don't think there's any need for him to. He's not making any more, is he?
Well, he's been commissioned by the groups of companies behind the 5G technology to promote it, to show everyday uses for 5G technology. So also consumers want to use it.
That's why he was vaccinated. I understand now. It's to connect up with the next TV show. Yeah.
Let's move. Seeing you've beaten me on faking it this week, let's move quickly onto Pratt.
I thought you might want to.
Okay. Go change colour.
Rat of the week.
Oh, you can't speak. Hello? Am I the only one that's hungry?
Oh, no, can I just actually change my Pratt of the week now? Can I suggest
Roger
Polter?
No, you can't.
Me too.
Roger's just a given. He wins it every week.
Pratt of the year.
So, well, we did have Katie on Pratt of the Week a few episodes ago.
Yeah, but you
She
didn't
should've
give
won.
it
She
to me.
nominated herself.
I did, and you said I wasn't. I lost.
Oh. I'd say you are.
I know you would, George. Thank you.
Shall we see who's going first? And this may confuse the viewers. Actually, we've got a couple more comments in. Let's just see what the comments are saying.
Suspense are killing me now.
There was a castle in a children's park. It was called a bouncy castle.
Hey.
Ross.
Oh, then Ross.
Is she saying hi, everyone?
Hey,
Hi,
Ishy.
Greetings, Lady is she? Yeah, yes, I knighted her.
And have I just tuned into a mashup of Roger's Blue Suede News, Fun Night, and Christmas Day speech all in one?
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
On top of that, Katie will be having her own sort of like show in the near future, no doubt, as well. So it'll be a mashup of that as well. I mean, she's on Roger's show often enough, you know.
All right.
She's going to be the guest host next week on Roger's Blue Suede. You heard it here.
Oh, that's going to be a great episode.
So I forgot why, but I was actually thinking of doing a special show and asking for a guest host.
So you
And
can
you
be
forgot
Can't be
why?
chaotic then.
But I can't remember why. So
we have
It was
so books, and then it's probably just been cancelled by the latest lockdown.
yeah, it's some sort of flight of fancy I had, and then I changed my mind, thinking I don't want anyone else to take control.
Like
you
someone take control. One person taking control would be quite good. I mean, Roger, at the very least, can you try to take control?
So, all right, what we'll do, we'll move on to Prat of the Week, and the first Prat of the Week is a furious woman. This has been nominated by George.
Don't throw me under the bus, mate. You dick.
Tell you what, if anybody casting, that is my range. That's furious.
Angry and McDonald's.
You see, when George nominated this story, all the story says is furious woman. It didn't even say who they were, and I didn't have any pictures. So I messaged Katie and says, "Can you send me a selfie of you looking furious?" And she didn't even question why I wanted a selfie of her looking furious.
Like, yeah, sure.
Do you know what? That is years of online dating. That is. Ask for a photo, don't question it. Just
That's
send
your Tinder
it.
profile pic in there.
I'm pleased I didn't say send nudes then.
Oh.
Yes, so am I.
So, God,
So-
which one do you want?
All right, George, your
Oh,
45 seconds to justify your choice starts now.
So this woman, probably called Katie or something like that, she was in the queue for McDonald's just before 11 o'clock, and so she wanted the breakfast menu. As she got there, it was just past 11, so obviously breakfast menu wasn't in anymore. She was so angry, she called the police on McDonald's to complain she couldn't get like a morning bacon sandwich, you know. And like the police have got enough on their plate, you know, with lockdown breaches and snowball fights. Yeah, excuse me, do you mind 45 seconds here? And like snowball fights. So they don't need some Karen to call them complaining that she can't get a bacon butty. Like, for fuck's sake, Karen, calm down and get a McNugget.
I don't think I've ever actually eaten at McDonald's. I mean, is the bacon real bacon? Is it crispy?
Yeah.
In case I can understand her fury, because, you know, one of those American burger things wouldn't satisfy if you want some real crispy, decent bacon.
She got really McAngry.
She didn't get a Happy Meal in the end.
Yeah.
So what you failed to say, George, was, because I do look at these stories when you suggest them, is that she was actually in a car driving, and the drive-through was taking so
said that.
long. You just said she was like McDonald's. You never mentioned a car.
I thought I did. Well, she's at car drive-through.
Well,
So
no wonder
you've-
they're not going to serve her. Look at her there. She's not in the car in that photo, is she?
Yeah. That's why I didn't say it like that.
So what you're saying is,
Drive through.
I should have asked Kate to send me a picture of her sat in the car. Looking glorious.
Yeah, for next week, Katie, Katie, can you just run down to your car now, take a quick snap, and then come back?
Take the camera, take the laptop with you.
I have it on good authority that the woman in that picture would never have a McDonald's breakfast anyway. She wouldn't kick off about it.
Well, you don't
The
go
problem
that
is-
early.
From this point forwards, if I make a similar request to Katie, she'll know what's going to happen. So let's move on
Just ask her
to our
fellow.
next
Ask her fellow.
nomination.
Oh, that's the pic I sent you of me.
Our next nomination. Now, this is my next nomination. Was nominated by Queen Elizabeard, and it's Robert Burns. Queen Elizabeard. Your 45 seconds starts now.
Okay, this is the Scottish bard, Robbie Burns, and he wrote a stupid ode to haggis. Which makes everyone have to eat haggis and listen to bagpipes in January. I can't stand haggis. Bagpipes give me a headache, but as the monarch, I have to be traditional. I have to stick with these traditions. Even this year at Windsor Castle, it was just me, Philip, and one butler, and we still had fucking bagpipes. Philip can't even play the bagpipes. Honestly, listen to the verse. Fair fire, honest, son she faced, great chieftain of the pudding race. Chieftain of the pudding race. It's not even as decent as a blood pudding. I'm sorry, give me a black pudding any day of the week. No, not this haggis nonsense. No. And Robbie Burns is the one who's made it famous, made us eat this Viking leftover food. No, get rid.
That's your time up.
You know you
Does
don't
anyone
have
else
to eat
want to-
it.
Yeah, does anyone
I
else
do.
want to make a comment on this?
Yeah, technically this was many years ago, so it's not this week. So it technically shouldn't be part of this week.
But it was Burns
this
night
week.
this week.
But yeah, Burns night this week. That's the thing. It was.
Burns night happens every year, though.
It does, and last year he was Pratt of the Week, and I made certain of that the case at the time. But unfortunately, Theresa May refused to declare it in Parliament. Oh no, it's Boris Johnson last year refused it. The year before, it was Theresa May who refused to declare it in Parliament. Gordon Brown tried to get rid of me.
I love how we have our monarchy to look up to. America has their flag, and in true Scottish tradition, they have offal.
And unicorn. Awful and unicorn.
It gets a whole day for a bit of the bit of meat that no one wants to fucking eat. Gets given a whole day.
I am surprised actually it's not a Welsh tradition, really. Yeah, they do like their sheep there, so they might as well use all of it.
Yeah, but they're too busy putting things in it.
Might make it taste better.
Tenderising it.
I'll tell you what, shall we move on to our third nomination for Pratt of the Week, which is bound to be Katie's. Katie, your 45 seconds starts now.
Oh, I was really hoping you were going to say his name, but this guy has had
It's Kenny Wilding.
Thank you, Kenny Wilding. This chap has had a tattoo of Boris Johnson on his belly for charity, and he says he's got no regrets. He's got no regrets because it was for charity, and he's got a friend who's got cancer, which is good on him raising money. But has he not heard of a sponsored bike ride? That you'll get a sore ass for a little bit and it's over with. He's got bother on his guts. He's got an actual tattoo and it's not a very good one. The person who did it donated it. It was an £800 tattoo and it is the shittest tattoo I have ever seen. It looks like he's whistling. It doesn't look like Boris Johnson and he's
Can I say, if he gets with someone who doesn't know and they make it out, and they take the shirt off and suddenly bothers does that.
Well, this is it, because his wife at the minute, apparently she doesn't mind it, but once she leaves him because she's sick of the fucking sight of Boris, and he goes for someone else, he's got no chance.
Well, no, I'm thinking,
like
does he have the initials? Does he have the initials next to it? Because, they're not the BJ. Just a BJ, please.
just underneath.
Would you like to see the tattoo?
Oh God, yes, please.
Really, I don't want to see Boris at the best of times.
It's not Boris. Look at the
Oh
fucking
my
poster.
God, what is that?
That is like looking at his dick with absolute displeasure, isn't it? Yeah. I'm doing every time he has a wank in the mirror. Can you imagine him having a wank in the mirror, going, yeah, there's someone moving up and down. Yeah, no.
Yes.
They've not
You know where he's
even
going?
used they've not even used his belly button as the chin dimple or anything.
No, you know what he's saying? He's going, my vaccine, my vaccine, my vaccine.
I mean, I think it would be better if he actually had a hairy chest and then the hairs could be Boris's.
No, you know what he's saying in that tattoo, don't you? That's not 2 meters.
Do you know what Kenny has said?
Kenny,
this is a quote from
Can you let me out of hospital soon? How long's this section last?
No.
This be good.
Kenny has said, I think Bozza is a legend. And I have never seen anyone with a tattoo of him. Well, there's a reason for that, Kenny, because it's bloody stupid.
That's exactly what I thought when I read the story, which is why I nominated him, because he is clearly fucking deluded. Just go on a sponsored bike ride.
But can you imagine a poor friend who's dying of cancer? The last thing his poor friend's going to see is that.
Yeah, cheers, that, mate. In the summer, when he goes swimming, he takes his top off. People will definitely stay 2 meters away.
Can I thank all three of you for nominating really good Prats of the Week? I just need to make a choice now between Penny Wilding, Robbie Burns, or the Ferocious Woman.
Do you remember that there was a knighthood in this for the right answer?
Oh,
right. Well,
come on.
I've got to say, Katie didn't win when she nominated herself. So you're not going to win when I put a picture of Katie in front of a McDonald's when you nominate a ferocious woman.
No, I didn't say you put a photo of Katie though. That was your choice. I'm not
You
down
didn't
to
give me a name. You
I
just
said
said ferocious woman.
I said.
Oh, you did say Karen. You did say Karen, but I don't know any Karens. And Katie starts with a K, so the way I'm with names, that was close enough.
I'm surprised he's not called me Karen at least 4 times.
Sabotage.
So George, I'm afraid you haven't won.
Oh, sorry, George.
Sad day.
Robert Burns. No, he's too old, isn't he? He's too old to be Pratt of the Week.
Well, he's dead for a start.
Yeah. If he died in the last 7 days, then we might have accepted the argument.
Yeah, but it'd be just down another COVID statistic then, wouldn't it?
Oh,
so this means the Pratt who tattooed a really bad tattoo of Boris Johnson onto his chest and then said he's a wonderful person.
And
he's
didn't have PJ put underneath it. Yeah.
That's fair. I'll give that.
Now people watching at home may be thinking, have I pre-selected the Pratt of the Week? But I did think I'd wait until I'd heard the arguments before deciding. And just in case, I did have one set up for Robert Burns and one set up for Ferocious Woman.
Now you can pause that and
Screenshot.
I like that said Furious Woman and Roger said Ferocious Woman. In true Roger style. He just saw one letter at the beginning and one at the end, went, fuck it, we'll guess. Even though he wrote it himself. What, Ferocious or Furious?
Yeah.
It very much depends what time of day it is.
Right now,
I'll have to watch that and catch up. So, Lord Sparkles, I think, is referring to your Birmingham story and is referring to the film Falling Down.
Okay.
So, Lord Sparkles would also like to know from Katie, which do you prefer, McDonald's or McHaggis?
I like McDonald's dinners. I like when they're hot, but I haven't had a hot one for a very long time. McDonald's, sort your shit out.
Hey, that's what she said.
I don't like their breakfasts. It's just greasy shit. But haggis, I wouldn't even look at.
Yeah. And
Well,
Ross, I don't know if Ross has left us, but Ross, you can watch it on catch up if you can't stay around for the whole show.
It's
It will
gone
be
now,
available on
Ross. No point telling
Facebook.
him.
You just have to message him yourself, won't you, George? Just drop him a quick text or something.
Yeah.
And say, watch the rest of the show. It got better.
Thank you, Ross.
Hey, I had a message
Yeah,
saying
'cause-
it's good tonight.
Yeah, it got better because Roger's computer glitched.
So the other thing I should point out is that we do have a www.buymeacoffee.com/Rogers Blue Trade News RBSN. By all means, if you're enjoying the show, please buy us a coffee. If you're watching on catch up and you're enjoying the show, go to that website and buy us a coffee. They're only £2 each, and any proceeds I will distribute amongst the guests on the show. And also, if you really enjoy the show, why not become a member? It's only £3 a week to become a member, and you'll get a monthly newsletter and other bonus features.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which I haven't decided yet because
I really
I haven't
wanna know
got any
what it is.
members yet.
I think we'll have to
Yeah.
join just to find out what this newsletter will say. Does it contain any real news?
George will come round and be a professional dwarf for you for a morning.
Whoa.
It'll be titled. I know what the title of the newsletter will be already. It's the Roger Blue Suede newsletter.
How long does that take you?
Also, can I just say, £2 for a coffee? That is well cheap, because I went to Starbucks and got my fella a coffee earlier, and it was nearly £4. And I don't go Starbucks, and that nearly made me cry.
It is fairly cheap though, because there's a more expensive one. Even in the name, you know it's going to be expensive. Costa coffee.
Is that more expensive than £4?
Well, it sounds very expensive. It's just going to be, it's going to cost a lot.
I'm sorry, I ruined your joke.
Yeah, but
Wait,
it's
that's a
all right. I wouldn't say it's my joke. I'd say it's more Stewart Sons of Al Dunican's joke. And by the way, if you are watching, they're actually on another YouTube channel right now. Scott Dunican is, but stay tuned to this, and then you can watch him later.
I always thought Scott was on a Saturday night.
Oh, it is a Saturday. It just feels like a Saturday.
Yeah, we're on Friday night. Scott is on Saturday night.
Friday, Your Majesty.
Every night, every day feels the same during lockdown, doesn't it?
Oh my God.
I know.
The Queen's lost it.
Philip surprised me actually the other day. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
We normally do it on a Thursday night, and he must have done it on a Wednesday night instead. It just threw me. Well, literally,
Fair
just
enough.
threw me on over the bed.
Well, I'll tell you what, senior throne,
save
we'll
you.
move on to the next round.
The good
Oh, I can talk again. La 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 la.
and the utterly stupid.
Right. So that's George silenced.
Should have done that earlier, but I mean, I think we can get away with saying all sorts of things at the moment.
I've
It's not
brought
like
him
I'm on
back.
his show
I've
anytime.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back.
It's not like
Yeah.
George does his own show where he judges the rest of us at any time soon, is it?
Spoiler
No.
alert.
So, what shall we talk about in the good, the bad, and the utterly stupid? I should say to people or our viewers, this is where you can suggest a story. So, well, we've had a comment from Ishi, but it's not a story. Oh dear, Kenny, what he really, really wants is a BJ from Buzzer.
Oh.
It was actually Bozzer what he said, but he's had to make do with a tat instead. Deco Pratt of the week. So
Bye, Katie.
Yeah, Katie's gone. Katie's wandered
Hey.
off. Yeah.
Yes,
fair enough.
She's
I've
going
got
to
to
get
get
the
that feedback.
McDonald's. She's got to get in the queue for McDonald's. She wants a breakfast, so she knows she's going to
Yeah.
set off now to get you.
Oh,
Let's
we talk about it
look.
now. She's a pain in the ass.
She's not vanished completely. Oh, she's back.
Oh, damn it, she's back.
Oh, never mind.
Sorry.
Let's
You should
move on
be.
to our first story in this section. So the first story, I've used this image before, but the story is the border controls. The England border controls. We've introduced stricter border controls where people from certain countries have to now, when they come into the airport, go straight to a hotel and quarantine for 14 days. The thing that gets me with this is, why wasn't this done last March?
Yeah.
And why is it only certain countries and not all countries?
Yeah, because people are going to just use different corridors, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, go on then, Queen Elizabeard. You go first.
Well, I'm aware that people from South Africa were planning to go via Dubai, and so that's why the day later they went, hold on, oh yeah, the United Arab Emirates, we better stick that in there as well, because everyone from South Africa went, started booking flights, went, right, we'll go to Dubai, boom, straight in. Yeah, normal route anyway. It would, so it makes a complete mockery of the entire system. The one problem I have is staying in a hotel at the airport for 14 days and having to pay for it. I mean, I'm sorry, but at least can we have it for free? And
actually, I should say it's 10 days, not 14 days. I got that 14 days.
Yeah, but anyway, but still, 10 days at a hotel and the airport, watching planes, and not even be able to go out to Weatherspoons. I mean, but at the very least, open the Weatherspoons and quarantine everyone together.
Yeah.
Well,
let's go to Katie then. Yeah, come on, Katie. What's your views?
I don't know why we didn't do it sooner. New Zealand and Australia, they've had it enforced for ages. They're going to live events now. Their life's carrying on almost as normal. There's a lot of things that we should have done a lot sooner and for longer, that had we done by now, life would be getting back to some sort of normal. I don't understand why we didn't do this before. And it just doesn't make sense. And I'm all for it. And I hope that we can do it properly. Which is the other problem that they have, is not doing things properly. If they do it properly, strictly, and not having so many loopholes to the rules, then hopefully we will be able to get out of this.
Okay, and over to George.
Well, yeah, I agree with what everyone's been saying so far. They should have basically done this on day one, like New Zealand, etc. And like Queen Elizabeard, when I first saw it, I thought, well, why should people be paying their own hotel? And then I thought, that's actually better than the alternative of the taxpayer paying. Then otherwise everybody will be up in arms going, well, I'm not paying, so Bill can go on holiday, come back and have a hotel for 10 days. I don't want to pay for that. But no, people should. And like something similar that came in about a week or two ago was Bojo saying, oh, people can only come over if they have a negative test. No shit, Sherlock. That should have been in since day fucking one.
The trouble with our border controls is that these should have been in back in March.
Yeah.
No ifs, no buts. It should have been back in March. The border controls have been far too late, and that's one reason why I've got 100,000 deaths.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, it's scandalous, and the government should be ashamed of themselves.
Oh God, yeah.
I know they did a good thing with signing the contract for the vaccine 3 months ahead of the EU. That was a good thing. But this border issue, it's been a farce from day one.
The only reason we're doing it now. Yeah, the only reason we're actually doing this right now is around the fact is that we've got a vaccine, and they're saying just in case there's a new mutation. But if we actually had done this, it would be less people. Wouldn't have had the Kent variation. Yeah. Wouldn't have had that many people having the virus, and therefore wouldn't have been getting all these mutations.
If you don't do it for every country, it doesn't work.
No. If you go all the way back to March last year and say, right, we're in lockdown. Do it, because we did lock down properly back in March. Everyone seemed to take it. Nobody gives a shit now, it feels like. I haven't left the house for nearly 2 weeks, but other people do. And it just, you see people like when it was snowing, people were out pissing about. If we went back to March, everybody had taken it seriously, and it had just gone on until, even if it lasted until Christmas, we would be in a lot better situation than we are now, and we probably could have had a nice Christmas, and we probably would be out of it now. The problem is it's too much bit and bat, and nobody really. The non-believers are getting fueled by all of the. Well, they're saying this now, and then they're saying that now, and nobody's being consistent. Nobody's sticking to the same rules. There's too many loopholes within every regulation they set up, and everybody's finding the loopholes. Everybody's using the loopholes. If people would just fucking stop, stay the fuck at home, let's deal with this shit. If you can't afford to stay in a hotel for 2 weeks after you get back from wherever you've been, don't fucking go.
I think
the thing is, it's not rocket science. We live on a frigging island.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to close our borders and stop people from, because people will lie and say, yes, I'll go and isolate in this place in a hotel where they're monitored and they can't mix, right? And that will stop us importing any of the variants. If you say, we're just going to stop people from Africa, they'll just travel to Europe and come in.
Yeah.
It's like on this morning, I believe it was either yesterday or the day before, there was a woman in Dubai, and she said, I should be allowed to travel because I'm an influencer. Like, fuck off. No, stay in Dubai.
Isn't that what Instagram and for? And TikTok and all that shit. It's so they don't have to fucking leave their houses.
It's like influencers are not key workers, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, so we can watch
one
their
step
old
forward,
photos.
2 steps back.
We've had a message from Ishi. Apparently, Elon Musk has posted an angry tweet because his rocket would go up. Well, maybe he should use some Viagra.
I made
down there
recently that all the adverts on TV are for erectile dysfunction medication, gambling sites, and I can't remember even what the third one was, but and IKEA.
But we keep seeing holiday adverts, and my mum was saying, like, who the fuck? No one can go on holiday, so why the fuck are they showing holiday adverts like 2 weeks? Like, what? Why?
There's nothing else that they can advertise because we've done everything possible there is to do while you're stuck in lockdown.
Is that what was placed in the DFS sale adverts?
but people got too many sofas now.
Let's move on to the next story I pre-selected, because this is one I think we must do.
Hey.
It's the lady on Welsh TV.
Non-COVID.
Right? She appeared on a stream on Welsh TV. And if you look at her bookshelf, you might spot something.
Yeah, it is actually bigger than Philip's.
I don't know what your problem is. I don't know what your problem is.
Yeah, I mean, you do choose what you put on your bookshelf very, very carefully when you're going to
I've got my wardrobe behind me.
I mean, I've just got a skeleton here. Yeah.
Is that Philip?
This was on there earlier. This is a little dancing queen.
This is for Christmas presents from my friend. This was. She's that's the
your friend, your special friend.
No, that's the unicorn.
For a second there, I thought that was some sort of small Christmas tree.
No, it's a unicorn.
All year round.
And I think you're all familiar with Norman the Gnome.
Yeah, we've seen Norman.
So there's a unicorn horn. I'm sorry, but how does that even work? Because surely, as soon as you put it up yourself, you're no longer a virgin, and it disappears.
I don't know how it works. It's definitely not been used, or it wouldn't be this close to my face.
Okay. Well, tell you what, if you wouldn't mind sending it to Windsor Castle, I'll find out for you.
And then also she got me this as well. That's a stress vagina.
I'm thinking I could use that for Philip. He might get confused and might give me a Thursday night off.
So the question is, did this woman do this on purpose? She was actually talking about applying for jobs and being passed over for jobs.
As she was connecting on the Zoom, one of her colleagues quickly ran in and placed it, and then ran out before the Zoom started. So she had no choice but to leave it there.
The one thing I should point out,
there's bloody handprints right on the door.
Yeah,
right
on the door.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she's got an even bigger one somewhere which she'd used just before the interview, and you went, "Oh, I've got to get rid of that."
Pinky fucker.
The thing is, it's at eye level for most of us, George. She's got one lower down for you.
Hi ho!
That isn't where you
we go.
With a rubber dick. I couldn't explain all being
both our hands. She's probably using the other one as she's speaking.
Yeah.
Both her hands were out of shot.
The UK
economy.
Anyway, Jess, I'm afraid we're going towards the end of the show. I do apologise about that.
That's how you end the show.
Can we find out from Ishi? Ishi was telling us there was a tweet from Elon Musk. What's his tweet say? Does anyone know?
I don't
it was just angry those rocket hadn't gone up.
Okay.
There's going to be a rocket launch today. Anyway, let's run the titles for the final round.
Oh, I predict
Okay, you may have recognised that voiceover. That's Furious Woman.
I don't think I look furious, though, I have to say. I think I'm the softest piece of shit anyone's ever met.
Well, you are a piece of shit, I'll give you that.
I'm a cuddly fat person, and that is what we are.
In this round, I'm going to ask each of my guests to make a prediction about something that's going to happen in 2021. We have had one prediction on this show come true already, which was discussed last week. So if you want to know which prediction that was, by all means, watch last week's on Catch Up.
Was it one of mine?
No, it wasn't one of yours. So I would have said something. It was one made by one of the guests last week. They happened to come back on the show on the week when their prediction came true.
Ooh.
I've made so many predictions. One of them's going to come true.
Can I just point out again that buy me a coffee? If you enjoyed the show, by all means, buy us a coffee. There's the details on the bottom of the screen. Anyway, let's go to George first for a prediction. I want one prediction from each of you, whether it's someone to add to the Deadpool or a normal or a prediction of some event. So over to George first.
I think there's going to be a news headline, whether it be national news or local news, and it's going to be people are going to be outraged by a fruit. I'm going to leave it like I'm not going to give any particular fruit. There's just going to be an outrage about behave.
Like Boris Johnson.
In the next 11 months, somewhere there'll be one person outraged by fruit to make local news.
It's got to be a headline. It's got to be a national headline.
National headline.
It's got to be the Bleep Straight News story of the week.
Yeah, it's going to be. An outrage.
It will be next time George is on.
I think it'd be fairly easy to actually for that to happen because the next iPhone will just fail, and so the Apple will be sort of that's more irate about Apple.
Hey,
yeah.
Right.
Roger's new computer.
Let's go to Queen Elizabeard and ask her for a prediction.
I personally think the Queen Elizabeard, is going to catch COVID. I know that I've been vaccinated, but I think catching COVID will be the thing. In fact, the prediction's already come true. Do I
win? Does this count for the real monarch as well?
I am the real monarch. We're not talking about the hairless imposter. She appears on that BBC One show. No nonsense. No. Obviously, the real monarch.
And finally, let's go to Katie for her prediction.
I can't remember if I said this already before, but Deadpool, David Attenborough.
We've got David Attenborough, and it was actually proposed by Alex Leam.
Oh, fuck you, Alex.
You'd like to.
Was that probably one of the very first ones, wasn't it? I mean, him and Prince Philip are the two top ones on the list.
Okay, then in that case, I think, although I've already got him in the Deadpool, as we've not really heard from him much recently, I think there's going to be a scandal involving Donald Trump.
Ooh,
Sorry, that's hardly exactly news, is it? What, a new scandal?
It was like last week, a week before.
It's
Can't
already
have that.
kind of existing.
I'm going with the odds. No, all right. Melania's going to leave Donald and he's going to top himself.
Okay, so we're going to win the
Or
death.
it will look like he's topped himself.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, he could go into prison. He could be jailed after all. You know, he's going to the Senate.
I think I've already had him in prison. I've
will he use chocolate or strawberry sauce?
What,
I think
kill himself?
To top himself.
No, he's going
A few
to use,
hundreds of thousands.
he's going to use his favourite beverage, coffee.
Coffee.
Okay, I've locked those predictions in.
Remember,
And-
already won. Already got it.
Okay, this takes us on to the. Someone is worried about you, Queen Elizabeard.
Philip. Oh, Lord Farkles. Yeah, well, one will do. One will do. Yeah, one's going to do one's best, but it keeps Philip away from me for the next 10 days. So there are bonuses.
And if she thinks you're a brilliant catch, well, Philip certainly thinks so. So, moving on to actually, I called the last round the final round, but it's no longer the final round, is it? Because I created this round.
Put a plug in it.
This is where each of my guests are able to promote themselves. And let's go to George first.
I'm sure we didn't hear the voice of that one because I've heard it's really good. Yes, as mentioned.
Professional, isn't it, George?
Yeah, absolutely. I really show my dwarfism there. And,
you need a giant's voice to project it. Yeah.
3, 5, 4, 5, put a plug in it.
There we go. That's recording for next week.
So yes, as mentioned a few times tonight, I do have my own show called Fun Night, which I present every Friday at 9 o'clock, where me and one of my best friends, Ben Holmes, takes a panel of people from the world of entertainment and I put them through silly and ridiculous party games. You can find that on my Facebook, George Coppen, actor and comedian, on my YouTube, which is George Coppen, or you can just follow me on Instagram at Coppen1412.
What night is it on, George?
Saturday night, and tomorrow we have comedians John Morris, Greg Phillips, and some guy named Denzel. I don't know if you know of him, Your Majesty. Denzel DeCristo.
Yes. Oh, he's one of my footmen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I almost can also say thank you for giving him the evening off tomorrow, so you could appear on my show. I do appreciate that, Your Majesty.
I'm not sure I have actually. I'll have to check.
He told me you had.
I'm not taking the carriage out, obviously, but I'll certainly have some polishing jobs to do.
Yeah, well, take over with him. He told me you'd given him the evening off.
Let's go to Queen Elizabeard to see if she would like to plug anything.
Well, first of all, my footman Denzel DeCalisto. Interesting you mentioned him there. He did give me a message earlier. Apparently, he's starting a new online show himself on YouTube, and it's going to be called Den of Fools. He's not really giving me many details as yet, but I think it's improv kind of comedy. If people want to have a laugh, I suppose people need to have a laugh these days. It might be rather amusing. One never laughs, so one is never amused. Other than that, there's a group in the Derby Comedy Writers Club. They do regular events. Denzel DeCristo's involved in that as well. Him and Roger, in fact, they often write together and get other people to do writing exercises. There's a brand new material practice night on Monday, but in a couple of weeks' time, probably going to be discussing StreamYard, and other times we're going to be discussing various writing processes. So it's always rather good. If you want to be funny, be amusing, come along to that. All the details will be on Roger's Facebook.
Okay, and let's move on to Katie.
Yeah, I've got nothing to plug. I'm on George's thing next week. And that's about it, really. Yeah. I'm just.
Okay.
If anybody's got anything that you want me to do, Roger, as always, has just said, I will send pictures if you just let me know what you want.
And they'll see you at McDonald's, yeah?
And McDonald's, if anybody wants to get me one, I like a big tasty, but it needs to be hot.
Hey.
I don't like it cold. And I'm quite partial to KFC as well.
Oh, me too.
That's it, really. Yeah.
Well, I'd like
looking good, don't we?
I'd like to say thank you to all my guests for being on tonight. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Katie Does Comedy, George Coppen, and Queen Elizabeard. It's been an honour to have you as guests.
Thanks
I look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Bye.
And that's good night from all of us. Thank you to everyone who's watched tonight. And please press subscribe, tick like, tick follow, do whatever you can to follow our show and come and join and be members and join into the show. We're on every Friday night at 9 p.m. Come along and comment and have fun. So see you next week. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.